Well, here are the last two pieces of the coffee tree to split. And before I split these, I thought we could take a good look at them up close. Now, when we did these, we did the face cut first to aim the tree. Did this lower cut to make the front corner of the hinge. And you can see that right there. Made that cut. And then we started boring right here, and you can see where the nose of that bar went. And I angled away from the hinge. And you can see it on this side too. You see where I angled away from the hinge. And when the light's just right, you can see where it punched out over here. But it came out this way. And the reason the reason you aim away from the hinge a little bit is just for safety, so you don't accidentally cut off your hinge on the far side. That's the reason. If your saw is filed and it's cutting well and your saw is running good, you can take that and you can just punch right through. And the way I do it is I use this front edge as a siding plane, and I run that saw in parallel to that. And that works okay, but it's just safer to cut away from it. And then what you do after you punch out, get punched out over here, you hook your dog in on the saw, hook your dog in, and with that thing running fast, you rotate it, and you can see these lines here where it came up, and I stopped right there. But you rotate it, and then you've got your hinge established. You got it straight on both sides. The next thing we did, we came over here, and this was the heavy side of the tree. You want to cut out the heavy side of the tree first when you're taking out one half of it. So I came over here, went in here, swept out half of it, and I stuck a wedge in right in here. Then I came back over here and cut this side out. And it had forward weight and it went. But that's the sequence you run through. And I could have, after I got the hinge established, I could have just cut straight back out because I knew it had forward weight. But you do that often enough, sooner or later you're going to misjudge your weight, and the tree is going to sit down on your bar, and then you've got to go get a wedge and see if you can pound it in there next to your bar. And it's just a little bit safer to cut out the compressed side and put a wedge in. So that's what you do. You want to cut out the compressed side, and one of the rules you kind of watch is don't cut over halfway on the compressed side of the tree. They also call it the bad side of the tree. You go too far on the bad side of the tree, and that tree will sit down on your saw. So don't go over halfway when you're cutting out the bad side of the tree. So anyway, that's the sequence of events on cutting that, and we've got our let's see, this is our splitter. What is that? I think a county line. Yeah, county line splitter. And it works well. When you go to buy a splitter, get a big one. No need to mess around with a small one. If you get a small one, pretty soon you're going to run into a log you can't handle. So get a big one when you get one. And again, thank you very much for visiting, and we love processing wood.